to make a basic fabric case for the iPhone. What you need is a ruler, some fabric scissors, some white chalk for marking, and some pins to pin the fabric down. If you don't have pins, you can use some spare needles, and of course your fabric. I'm using felt, but you can use whatever you want. I'm going to use a sewing machine to sew it together, but you can also do it by hand. It's not going to be that difficult. The materials you need is felt, or your material of choice, cardboard. I'm using a breakfast cereal backing, and thread if you're sewing by hand. Before we start, if you could download and print off the PDF pattern which accompanies this video, that'd be really good. What I've done is I pre-cut the pattern out, and also the patterns for the cardboard inserts. What we're going to do with this is we're going to pin it to our felt, which I have here. I don't have pins myself, so I'm going to use some spare needles. The pinning just makes it easier to cut layers out on the felt, so you get the same size on each of the felt, and it's nice and even. The next step is to cut out the fabric, which I'm going to do now with these fabric scissors. You can use normal scissors, but I find fabric scissors are better because it has a nice edge on it. It gives a nice clean cut, especially with the felt I'm using. Just put the waste to one side, you can use it again for another project. And what I need to do now is mark out these sides on the edges on the pattern onto the fabric, so it's easier to sew on the machine or by hand. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I find it easier if I put it in on the actual thing. Anyway, I'll just put these to one side as well. Move the pattern, you can keep it or throw it away or recycle it, do whatever you want. Okay, there's one with the lines already done. I use white chalk to do the lines, but with this white chalk you have to kind of hold down. So there's my two pieces of fabric which will be sewn together. I'm just putting this together because I find it easier to sew on the sewing machine. But if you're sewing by hand, you probably won't pin it together. Again, I'm using needles because I can't find my pins. I need to buy a sewing box. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew all the way down one side, this side, and then this side, and then these lines as well, which will be the folds in our case. But I'm going to leave the top side open so that we can then insert our cardboard inserts. Start by sewing the vertical lines, which I've marked out with chalk, just because I like to. No really choice. Nope, not much choice really, because I like it. Okay, what I'm going to do now is just cut off all the excess thread that we have. You can do this before or after the inserts, but I'll just do it now. Saves me time. Though I have to cut off the other threads as well. there won't be much. Of course you can do different stitches, but I just used a basic just dash stitch. Okay, now we're going to insert the cardboard. Hopefully. This cardboard is flexible while still giving the fabric some structure. Okay, now we've inserted the cardboard, we just need to start this edge now. Just making sure that my needle doesn't go through any cardboard. That'll make the needle go blunt. The case is now finished, and the iPhone goes like that, and you just wrap it round. It's meant to be held, so it's not really meant for heavy duty use. So just wrap it around like that. Of course you can use my pattern and edit it in your way to fit your own phone. But what we're going to do is that I want to create some accessories for this. Maybe like a notepad or something for you to put your Sudoku in. Maybe it's going to look like this. And the end of it, a little notepad. There we go. But to do that you have to follow the link provided, or just go to my profile and select part 2.